They all knew Chuck Cannon was a poor man, as he only seemed to wear two different shirts all year round. Although there was no strange smell, the clothes were already so faded and torn that they were simply unsightly. Someone asked,
Laura Jean, how much does he owe you?
$400, it's only a day's expenses for me, but for him, maybe a month. Putting aside how much he owes me, this kind of person is really disgusting. He doesn't even deserve to lick my shoes.
Chuck's expression was indifferent. He looked at Laura and took out $400 from his bag and said,
I'll return you the money now. I was really grateful when you were willing to lend me some money when I was starving. But you just slandered me. Let's call it even.
Laura frowned and looked at the $400 in his hand. She asked,
Where did you get the money from? Did you steal or rob it? Let's look at your pockets to see if you're short of money.
I earned it myself.
Why don't you look into the mirror before saying something so outrageous? How can you earn yourself $400 in the morning? Did you sell your body or something? Ha ha ha, I am afraid that this guy is not worth so much money even if he goes to sell his body.
The whole class burst into laughter. Seeing so many students laughing at him, Chuck sighed and sat back at his seat.
Laura, you should be easier on people.
Then tell me, what have you done? Where did you get this money from?
I picked up the money.
Hey, how much did you pick?
Yes, tell us, how much did you pick up?
2,000.
All the students were surprised and envied Chuck. If they had his luck and picked $2,000, their lives would be much more comfortable. Some students cursed him, but Chuck ignored them, and after class he went to staff room. Because there were no class in the afternoon, Yvette was quietly listening to music in the staff room. Seeing Chuck coming, she quickly got up and asked,
What are you doing here? Didn't I tell you to not look for me in between classes?
I just wanted to tell you something.
Tell me what?
I just wanted to you that I am going to move out today.
You want to move out? Are you kidding?
I am not joking with you, I'll move out today.
Well, I'd like to see how long can you sleep on the streets. Don't come back to me begging like a dog.
Okay, I won't come back to you.
Chuck turned and left the staff room. Yvette stared at the Chuck's leaving figure. He would not dare to talk back, no matter how much somebody scolded him. But today it was different. She didn't know what happened to him today. All of a sudden her cell phone rang.
Hello, Director Chester. What happened to you for suddenly calling me at this time?
Yvette, I heard your training company's business is not good. Do you want me to introduce some business to you?
Hearing Director Chester's words, Yvette became excited. Her business at training company had been suffering from losses due to unavailability of work. She had already lost $100,000 in last 2 months. She was afraid that she would have to close the company in half-year. She immediately replied,
Well, thank you, Director Chester, for taking care of me.
Come to room 1218 at Triumph Hotel tonight.
Director Chester, why don't I treat you to a 5-star hotel for dinner in an urban area?
What's wrong, Yvette? You don't even give me face.
No. Director Chester, it's just a hotel.
Forget it. If you don't come, then you can forget about the job. The business is given by my friend's company. He has more than 50 or 60 employees who need to be trained. If you don't come tonight, I won't force you.
Yvette was confused. She didn't want to go, but she didn't want to waste this opportunity either. Just when she wanted to negotiate the deal, he hung up the phone. She decided to take the risk. After leaving school, she drove back to home planning to tidy up and change her clothes. When she just arrived at the door of the house, she saw Chuck coming out of the house with a suitcase.
Wifey.
Don't call me like this.
Yvette, no matter what, you've been taking care of me for almost a year. After Grandpa's death. Of you?
What's wrong? Do you regret it? Do you want me to give you a chance?
No, I mean, if you have any difficulties in the future, you can tell me.
Yvette and Chuck had been sleeping in the same bed for so long. He still had some feelings for her in his heart. Yvette was also absent-minded for a moment. She didn't expect that this man, whom she looked down upon the most. But then, she smiled coldly and said,
Tell you? What good would it bring me to tell you? Can you give me money or bring me some customers? You can't give me anything and you can't even afford a meal, yet you want me to tell you.
If you need money, I can give it to you.
You better keep the money for yourself to buy instant noodles.
Chuck did not say anything. He left with his suitcase. Chuck walked with his suitcase for a while. After inquiring about the hotels nearby, he got into a taxi and went to the Triumph Hotel. The magnificent building, the glorious decorations, and the European interiors shocked him to his core. This was the busiest hotel in the city, which cheapest standard hotel rooms cost at least $800. In the past, Chuck did not dare to think that he could spend in such a place, but now it was different. When Chuck was about to go in, he was Yvette's car swerving in the parking lot.
What is she doing here? This is a hotel.
Chuck felt extremely bitter in his heart. Is his wife going to sleep with another man? Although the two of them didn't get a marriage certificate, and it was just Grandpa's arrangement. He felt very uncomfortable when he thought that the woman he once held in his arms was going to sleep with others. After Yvette went in, Chuck took his luggage and walked in. As soon as he entered the door, he heard a strange voice saying,
Oh my God, who is this? Isn't this Chuck?
Chuck turned his head and found Lara strolling in with her boyfriend, Conrad Lee, in her arms. Lara's face was full of scorn, as if Chuck was not qualified to come to such a high-end hotel. Conrad glanced at Chuck and asked casually,
Who is this?
Chuck Cannon. He's my classmate. I'm telling you, this person picked up $2,000, but he didn't return it and instead spent it himself. I really admire this kind of person.
Conrad glanced at Chuck, the corners of his mouth twitching in sarcasm.
Maybe such a trash hasn't seen $2,000 before.
Don't talk nonsense with this kind of rubbish. Let's go in quickly, my dear.
Lara held Conrad's arm tightly in her arms, as if she couldn't wait to enter the hotel. Chuck frowned slightly and ignored them, dragging his luggage into the hotel.
A standard room, please.
Conrad took out his identity card, and Lara followed suit shyly. The pretty staff at the front desk checked on the hotel's database and said,
I'm sorry, sir, today's standard rooms have been fully booked.
How about a larger room?
I'm really sorry. Only the presidential suite is currently available.
The presidential suite? How much is that?
He said so in an hesitant tone. For them, they would usually get a standard room that costs a few $100s every time they got a room. As students, it was already pretty extravagant for them to spend a few $100s like this.
Yes, it's $8,888 for the presidential suite.
It's way too expensive.
Forget it. Let's go find another hotel.
Lara muttered and pulled Conrad out. But before they went out, they saw Chuck walking to the front desk.
This rubbish really thinks that he is rich after picking up $2,000. Just look at his beggar-looking clothes. How dare he try to book a room in this kind of place?
Lara and Conrad were pretty sure that this guy had most $2,000 on him. He would definitely be shocked to death once he heard the price for a night in the presidential suite. Conrad's mind was filled with doubt as he watched Chuck walking towards the elevator with a room card.
How's that even possible?
What's going on?
How did that trash manage to get a room?
Laura Jean was so annoyed. She walked quickly to the front desk and said,
Hey, didn't you just say that there was no standard room left? Why did you let that person book one of them? Call your manager, I'm going to make a complaint that you are cheating your customer.
Hurry up, call your manager.
You two misunderstood me. The standard rooms are indeed fully booked. The room that person booked just now is presidential suite.
It's impossible. How can that broke idiot afford to book presidential suite?
The girl handed over the receipt which was issued just now. When the two of them saw the payment fee, their faces changed dramatically.
Could it be that he picked up more than $2,000?
It's very likely that he picked up $20,000.
He is really good at spending money. Picking up $20,000 and spending half of it lavishly.
Idiots are still idiots. He probably thinks that he is rich with that little sum of money. How dare a broke idiot like him even spend his slim stroke of luck like this?
Chuck placed his luggage in his room and went downstairs to eat. When Laura saw Chuck coming down from the elevator, she thought of something and whispered,
This loser likes to show off, right? Why don't we play around with him for a while?
But how?
Hey Chuck.
This marks the end of Chapter 3. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel and comment any suggestions or other novels you'd like to be featured here.